Thanksgiving in my family has always been loud, chaotic, and full of strange traditions. But that year, something else joined us at the table. Something watching, something waiting. Most of my relatives lived deep in rural Central Florida, close to the East Coast, hidden in quiet lands surrounded by lakes and pine woods. My Uncle Ben's house sat right beside one of those lakes. Only 5 other houses were scattered around the water, and beyond them stretched nothing but dark, endless woods. Uncle Ben wasn't rich, not even close. His place was rustic old wood, crooked docks, a metal roof that clanged in storms. But it was private, spacious, and perfect for his loud, wild personality. He was hosting Thanksgiving that year, which meant one thing: he was going all out. There were coolers jammed with beers, cornhole boards set up in the dirt, music blasting from old speakers, card games, and laughter echoing across the lake. We arrived around 3 p.m., and the sun was still bright, warming the wooden deck. We drank, played games, ate snacks, and laughed until our sides hurt. It wasn't a traditional Thanksgiving, but it was ours. Around 5:30 p.m., as the sky dimmed into shades of deep orange and fading gold, Aunt Mel and Uncle Ben started carrying food to the long table under the big gazebo near the lake. By 6 p.m., night dropped fast pitch black, swallowing everything outside the glow of the gazebo lights. Uncle Ben was probably the only human alive who insisted on eating Thanksgiving dinner outdoors in darkness. But honestly, we all loved the vibe. We were halfway through our food when my cousin suddenly froze and pointed behind me. "Dad, who's that?" The entire table turned. A man was standing just beyond the tree line, motionless, staring at us. His silhouette was tall, stiff, and completely silent. Uncle Ben stood up with the boldness that only several beers could give someone. "Can I help you with something?" he shouted, walking toward the woods. Halfway there, the man suddenly turned and sprinted into the trees. Everyone laughed nervously, everyone except Aunt Mel, who instantly went pale. And honestly, something about it didn't sit right with me either. But minutes later, it got worse. I noticed him again now. He stood closer to the lake, staring at us from another angle. I pointed him out, and Uncle Ben, now irritated, marched forward again. But this time there was another man in the woods on the opposite side of the yard. 2 of them, watching, silent. When Uncle Ben reached the first man, he ran again, vanishing into the dark woods. The second one simply stepped backward into the darkness and disappeared. At that point, the party was over. We began clearing the table, carrying food inside, shutting down the fun. Inside the house, the mood shifted to tense silence. Uncle Ben left the outdoor lights on. No one said it out loud, but we all felt that something wasn't right. After a while, I stood up to get another beer from the cooler outside. Both Uncle Ben and my dad called out, "Grab me one too." I stepped into the darkness and instantly felt exposed. The gazebo light had turned off. The lake was a black void. The trees looked like tall silhouettes, staring back at me. I grabbed as many beers as my hands could carry. Then, one of the chairs under the gazebo slid sharply across the concrete. I turned and saw him, a figure at least 6'5", towering, pacing slowly around the table like he was studying the place. I dropped the beers and ran back toward the house, screaming. My dad and Uncle Ben came rushing out, but before I could even form the words, a loud bang came from the opposite side of the house. Bam, 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 as if someone was slapping the siding, marking their presence. For the first time ever, I saw genuine fear in my uncle's eyes. We ran inside and locked the door. Aunt Mel rushed through the house, closing every curtain, every blind, because it felt like eyes were on us from every angle. Uncle Ben dialed 911, something he'd never do unless he truly felt danger. The call lasted barely a few minutes, but we didn't have to wait long. Bang! A violent hit against the glass made us all jump. Then, crash. A kitchen window exploded inward. Glass scattered across the counter. A brick lay inside with a note attached. "Leave now, UF asterisk feds. Asterisk, asterisk." For a moment, the entire room went silent. Aunt Mel screamed at Uncle Ben to get the old rifle. He yelled back that it hadn't been loaded in years. Then, finally, a single police siren chirped outside. Relief washed over us. The officer searched the yard but found nothing, just a broken window and the missing Trump flag from the front of the house. That's when everything finally made sense. It wasn't random. It wasn't drunks. It was targeted. Political or personnel weak. Still don't know. But one thing is certain. There are people out there who don't need a reason to hate you. They just need a dark night, a quiet house, and a little courage to step out of the woods. I still think about that night, the way they watched us like hunters study and pray. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder, what if the police hadn't come so fast? What if I didn't run back in time? What if those shadows in the trees had decided to do more than watch? Some people fear ghosts. I don't. I fear the living, the ones who hide in the woods and wait.